So we're going to start today with Dave Ramsey talking about some student loan stuff, and this is a continuation from a video we showed last week, but with him and Kristina Ellis. But they're talking about the loan forgiveness, and just wanted to share this with you, the audience.
That I've talked to a lot.
I don't have that
around this, from the very beginning, from the
just
moment.
in this room. There's been a lot of
Right. That being said, I've talked to a lot of people who, of course, there's people who are upset and don't think it's going to happen, but there's a lot of people who are genuinely excited.
counting on this.
So
I'm telling you, you're going to have your hope gets screwed when you place your hope on the wrong things.
Well, how do you think people should see this moving forward? People who are still qualified for this, do you think they should be nervous that potentially they could quietly fall out of it? Or what's kind of your thought on how people should look at this?
My thought from day one has been, don't wait on them to fix your life. Because by the time if they actually do institute this, it may require an act of Congress. Many legal scholars are saying that. You can't really spend $300 billion. That's 300,000 million without Congress's approval. You can't just do that as a stroke of a pen as the president. You don't really have the constitutional right to do that. Or at least that's what some people are saying. I don't know much about it, but it sounds reasonable to me.
Real quick, you can, because the money's already been approved through the Department of Education. Congress has already approved it. They approved it back in the 60s. So, yeah, you don't need Congress's approval. The president can do this. Just FYI. So, it just kills me. It's like the guy keeps saying he's got, 1,000 employees and he's worth hundreds of millions, but nobody can look this up. And yet I can do it in 2 minutes. I don't know. Is it just me or am I insane?
Well, I mean, they're not mutually exclusive.
Oh, okay. So I might be crazy. All right.
You might be crazy and correct. I mean,
I think I'm correct and insane. So
that might be true too.
Yeah.
Oh no.
So it requires an act of Congress. And you know what? When we were kids, we used to say, well, that's going to take longer than an act of Congress. You know why we say that? Because an act of Congress takes freaking forever. Congress is slower than Christmas. They're gridlocked. They don't do half what they say they're going to do. 90%, 98.2% of what they say they're going to do. And so, if it requires an act of Congress, you're screwed. If Biden can really do it with a stroke of a pen, it's $10,000. You have $98,000 in student loan debt. Quit acting like your life's better. Go get yourself out of debt. $10,000 ain't going to fix your life, by the way. It's going to help. And I'm not mad at you if you take it, but there's
so I think
I don't understand what they're complaining about.
Well, he's saying it's stupid, it's worthless, it's blah blah blah. But here's the thing. So over 20 million people who have student loan debt, this will actually wipe out their debt. And a lot of them are lower income people. A lot of them are minorities.
If that zeroes you out, that's a beautiful thing right there.
Well, and it puts them in a position now where, with the other parts of the plan, we're going to throw more money at schools and make it more feasible, and we're going to cap the tuition increase rates, and the government will pay to subsidize the interest on student loans as long as you're making your minimum payments, that kind of stuff. Now it makes it possible for a lot of these people who couldn't finish school because they couldn't afford it. It makes it more reasonable for them to be able to do so. So this idea that, well, $10,000 isn't going to change your life, for about 15 to 20 million people, it is. $10,000 if you're lower income is a life changer.
I know a certain point in time in my life when I was making about, $25,000 a year, a $10,000 swing in a particular direction would hugely change my life. If it was $10,000 more of income, $10,000 less of debt,
mm-hmm.
It would make a huge difference.
Right, but Dave doesn't care. If you're poor, he doesn't care. That's essentially what he's getting to here, right? And that's what just I think is so fatuous about the guy. It's just he doesn't give a shit. But anyway, we'll get into more of his genius.
So many indications here that this is so much about the midterms, so much about optics and posturing, and so much about politics more so than actual financial planning. So
it's going to be an interesting few months, I think.
Yeah, 30 days from now.
Yeah.
We're 30 days out from the midterms.
They said that the application should be out any time now, so very telling.
That would be interesting. Yeah. See if it comes out before the midterms. If you actually have an application in your hands, a place to sign up on a website that they've actually programmed. So how are you going to prove $125,000 income limit in a year that's not closed?
Well, see, that's a good question. So Dave asked this question on August 4th. Can they get the thing out before the midterms? I don't know. I mean, Lace, do you think they could get it out before the midterms? Do you think that's possible?
Well, I think with the invention of the internet, plenty is possible.
Yeah, but it's all political, Lace. Biden doesn't really mean it. Honestly, it's not going to really help anybody. It's all pointless. They're not going to do it. I mean, we're just, Dave's right. It's all wrong. Okay, we'll start here.
Well, there is some good news this morning. If you have an outstanding student loan, you can now apply for relief from that debt. The U.S. Department of Education launched a beta test of its student loan forgiveness website on Friday. Applications will be processed when the site officially launches later this month. President Biden's student debt relief plan will provide up to $10,000 in debt cancellation for borrowers who earn less than $125,000 a year.
Well,
seems like there's an application out.
So I guess Dave was wrong about that one. You know what else he was wrong about? They opened it this last weekend, and 8 million people over the weekend already filed. Of the, 40-something, 44 million that could do it. So they've got a fifth already signed up and ready to go. So, yep. So Dave was wrong. And horrible. So it's par for the course for Dave.
Well, what I don't understand is why at a certain point people can't admit that it happened. It's not even personal. It's not personal. It doesn't have anything to do with them. It happened. It's happening. It's out there.
Well, the other thing about it is you can sit there and say, yeah, it's political. And it is, to a degree. Biden wants to, pump things up for the midterms. It's, every president does it. Trump did it with the caravan thing. Obama's done it. I mean, they all do it. This is not new. We vote for them because of this. Right? It's the whole, if I hire a guy and he does a really good job, I'm not going to go there and yell at him and go, well, you only did a good job because I'm paying you and you want to keep your job. Yeah, that's why I did a good job. It's like, oh, we elected the politician because he promised to do this and then he did it. Well, he's just doing it for politics. Yeah, because he wants to get reelected. I mean, I'm sorry, but that's how power works. It's just how it goes. I just think it's funny. And, and then you have Kristina Ellis, who's supposed to be the college loan expert. She's against college loans, but the college, you don't have to get loans to go to college.
Right, the scholarship, like the go on scholarships, debt college expert,
Yeah, but she has nothing to say about this. I mean, she didn't have anything to add. I mean, it's just amazing to me. She got nothing to say.
What's, I guess, in my opinion, problematic sometimes about this show is that there's not variation in opinion per se, which I guess arguably makes them incredibly consistent. But at the same time, it would be interesting to hear some different takes and some,
right,
some actual debate, some different perspectives on something, but the perspectives all very shared.
Yeah. Well, I think that's the difference. I mean, because we disagree on things. We argue about things, not like heated or anything, but we just, we argue about them.
We just have different takes on things, yeah.
Yeah, we have different takes on a lot of things, but that's the whole point, right? The whole point is not to have one opinion, right? But with Dave Ramsey, it's all kind of couched in this sort of evangelical religious. There's only one answer. There cannot be any sort of divergent, philosophy or sense, right? which is kind of the difference between what we're trying to do here versus what he does and what others do, which is they all have to be kind of in lockstep, which is part of the problem with the financial industry, which is this is the way it is and nobody questions it.
Right.
But